Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Andrew Fazekas, the Night Sky Guy, here to talk about what else the night sky this week for June 26th, 2023. Welcome. So nice of you to join me discussing what we can see in the sky, exploring all the things that are in the starry heavens, wherever you are around the world. I cover generally things that are visible to the naked eye, even within city limits, easy things for those of you that are just casual sky watchers. Maybe you have a telescope or binoculars handy, and I point out a few things that are fairly easy to see, and sometimes some more challenging observing also thrown in for good measure. So I hope you had some nice clear skies. Why don't we just dive in right away into the night sky and see what's visible. Let's see. So I've got the planetarium program Sky Safari that I like to use, Sky Safari Pro, all set up for what we can see this week. And this is set up now for Monday evening. Okay, so Monday, June 26th is what you're seeing. And what's really neat here is, of course, the moon. So on Monday, June 26th, as I'm recording this, we are now experiencing the first quarter moon in the sky, which means it rises kind of midday in the east and then follows the sun at a good measure distance away from each other and then sets later late to evening. And what's really neat is that when we get that first quarter of the moon, and I've got it all set up here, there is something particular really neat to be able to see. And there's a lot of craters you can see with binoculars and telescopes. And there's, of course, you can check out where anytime you can check out where a lot of the landers are located. Of course, you're not going to see the landers, right? They're too small, but you can check out the region where they are. It's kind of neat to do that. And here on Sky Safari, like scattered about are all these different names and such. But there is something particular that's really neat. Its scientific name is Rupus recta, which means that it's basically stands for a straight cliff, okay, in Latin. And it's also known as the lunar straight wall. It's a really wonderful thing to see with strong binoculars, and any small telescope will show you this when it's a first quarter moon. So what I want you to notice is with the moon, let me just take off some of these names first. Let's see if I can do that. There. Oh, not the right one. Hold on. let me see, where are we? With surface labels, that's the one. So we're going to take that off. And this is what we call a first quarter moon. And this is, again, June 26th. And this is what we call the terminator of the moon. So the terminator is like a line that divides the day portion of the moon to the night side, unlit portion of the moon. You can see that right here. And this is, of course, as the moon goes through phases, you see it inching from night to night, seeing right now more and more of the disk of the moon until we see the entire round disk, right? That phase we call the full moon. And we're heading towards that in a few days. But in the meantime, the first quarter moon, if you kind of scan your telescope or binoculars along this line, you see some beautiful shadows being cast by features on the moon. And this is a great opportunity right now, today, and even tomorrow, Tuesday and into Wednesday, to see something called the Rupus Recta, or we like to call it amongst the amateur astronomy group, is the lunar straight wall. It's one of those things that are really neat to see. And I've got it right here. The planetarium program shows us that, Sky Safari Pro. So if we just zoom in, it shows you where this area is. And look at this. It's an actual straight wall that kind of spans about 112 kilometers long. You can see it's just a straight line. And it's actually a fault line. We think it was caused probably by ancient geologic activity on the moon. Probably we're talking billions of years ago. It's a little bit of a mystery exactly how the process that went into making this, but it's absolutely visible through strong pair of binoculars, and very much so easy sight to see with a small telescope. And like I said, it kind of spans the length is about 112 kilometers, and it's about 400 meters deep, almost a half a kilometer deep, this cliffside that you can see. And it's really just gorgeous. And again, it's visible through small pair binoculars. A good guidepost and seeing that is if you see this cratered region just underneath it, you kind of scan your glasses up north of that, and you'll find a smaller crater here just next to it, and there's a one off to the right that's a little bit bigger, and of course an even larger one that it's nested into. And just between those two craters, you'll see this view. And by the way, the view of a typical pair of binoculars would be something on this order, right? And through a telescope, this is kind of what you would see, something of this size, like there. And you can see it right there. I'll put a sky chart for that later on. And here's a nice photograph of the region through that at a NASA site through an orbiter taking this picture. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Lunar orbiter type. There's the name Rupus Recta, and there's what we also call the lunar straight wall. I'll put some more information on my timeline so you guys can check that out. It's a really neat observing challenge for small telescopes particularly. Highly recommend it. So there you can see the line. It's a really, really neat thing to be able to see right there. I'll zoom in even more on it. You can see it right there. And you can see there's a small little crater here, and you can see these two craters on the left just the same way on this picture is right there. There's the two craters there. I'm going to send you on the chat later, just embed this link so you guys can use this as a guide going out and trying to observe this for yourself. It's a lot of fun. So we've got that to see. This is a lot of fun. Quarter moon, beautiful touring of the moon. And what else is there? Well, if we go off over here to the western sky, you've got something called, of course, a conjunction. We've talked a lot about conjunctions. This is where two celestial objects come very close together, planets, the moon, combinations of. And let me just put back the settings of the names back on so you can see that there. And we're talking about our two closest neighboring worlds, Venus and Mars, being very, very close together in the sky. And in fact, by Friday, if we move this to Friday, let me just zoom in. Looking towards the west after sunset, you might want to wait about an hour after sunset, like that, to really see the two star-like planets close together. Very easy to tell the difference. Venus is the brighter of the two planets, white color, and then next to it is an orange, fainter, much fainter star. It may be so faint that you might need to wait, like I said, an hour and a half after your sunset, so the skies get dark enough so you can see this above your western horizon. But what's really neat, I have this set for Monday, June 26th, but watch what happens as I go to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You can see that. This is when they get their closest together. So the two planets are going to be visible, like I said, through a pair of binoculars very easily. Through a pair of binoculars, it'll look something like this. The two planets, as you can see, they'll just about fit in an average pair of binocular view. And of course, if you have a telescope, you'll only see one individual planet in your field of view. But this conjunction is very pretty. It's particularly, I think, pretty with the naked eye, and it's something that's visible even within city limits. So don't worry, you don't have to go to the countryside to see it. The only thing is obstruction towards the western horizon. You want to make sure you have a clear view towards the western horizon. And then those of you interested in some deep sky stuff, look at the constellation that's next door. Looking beyond our solar system is the very iconic springtime constellation of Leo, and marking Leo's heart, of course, is Regulus, also known as Coriolis, the heart of the lion. It's a star that's about 78 light years away. Imagine you're looking back in time, right? 78 years when looking at this star. And so this star marks the heart of the lion, and it also marks the punctuation mark of this giant backwards question mark, or some people say it's a giant sickle. That marks the mane and head of the lion, Leo the lion. So that bright star, Regulus, kind of forms almost a kind of crooked line with Mars and Venus. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And it's amazing to think, when we look at Venus, if we look at Venus, how far away it is, well, it's about 74 million kilometers away. And light takes about 4 minutes, just over 4 minutes, to reach your eye from Venus. Now look at Mars. Mars is a lot fainter, right? Mars is not only just fainter because it's 1/3 the size of Venus, it's also much farther away. Check this out. Mars currently from Earth is 330 million kilometers away. Means that light, we see Mars, it takes light from Mars takes over 18 minutes to reach your eye. So 7 minutes from Mercury, 18 minutes from Mars, and then from Regulus, it takes about 78 light years. 78 years for the light reach your eye from Regulus. It's really amazing, that difference that we're seeing, and it's traveling back in time when you're looking at these objects. So that's what's going to happen. And then, of course, before I go away, if we just continue, this is set for Friday, the 30th of June. If we continue moving these days well into July, you can see that Venus is going to set. Mars even passes Regulus, and this is already by mid-July. You're already seeing Regulus surpass Mars, and the whole bunch is setting. So we only have a few weeks really to see this set together. It's really interesting, and it's something that shows you that the mechanics of the solar system at play. So if we go back to the 26th of June, that's today of this recording, and we see where the moon is. Let's look at the moon back again and seeing where it's going. So this is, again, June 26th, Monday. Tuesday, by June 27th, the moon is going to be positioned right next to the beautiful star Spica. That's right here, that blue star, very distinctive bluish green hue. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's like a jewel, a semi-precious stone in the sky. It marks the brightest point in the constellation Virgo the Maiden, that zodiacal sign. So this is really a beautiful, beautiful pairing that's going to be visible to the naked eye. Again, something that you'll see both objects, even the star, from a light polluted city. So like I said, I'm showing you stuff that you can see within city limits. You don't have to travel out into the into the countryside. You can do this from the balcony of your apartment or rooftop of your apartment, maybe from your local park that you have. As long as you've got clear skies, you can see this, and an unobstructed view, in this case, towards the southwestern sky, mid-evening, late evening. I would say around 10. This is set around 10 p.m. And you can see that these two objects very easy. The moon will point the way. Wait until, be patient. Wait until the sky darkens enough after sunset, maybe an hour to 2 hours after, to spot Spica. The star will come out better in darker skies, especially being next to the moon. The moon's glare will blind you, and to see that star, maybe perhaps if you're anxious, bring out those binoculars and you'll see the two pair together. They'll look something like this if I'm zooming in. Really a gorgeous sight, the two starkly, vastly different objects positioned together. Just gorgeous. Welcome to everyone joining this broadcast from South Africa, from all over the world. Thank you very much for joining. Yes, this is you time travel through the sky soon. Absolutely right. So it's really is amazing. And JJ has mentioned that the light from Regulus was released during World War II. Exactly. Around the time of World War II was when the light left on its journey from Regulus, right? Regulus was, remember, that's that bright star in right here next to Mars and Venus that we talked about. Imagine the light left on its journey around World War II. That's crazy. That's how the star is visible to us now. What does the star look like today? It's going to be a little different. You'll have to wait another 78 years for the light to reach your eye here to find out what it looks like today. Right? It's really amazing. So Spica, getting back to here, this is Spica on Tuesday, the 27th, pairing up with the moon. Beautiful sight in binoculars. Use those binoculars to cut through that glare of the moon. And if we follow the moon on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, this is Friday, June 30th, look where the moon is. This is, again, later in night, maybe 10 or 11 o'clock, maybe even closer to midnight would be a better time. So it's really, truly dark skies to see that beautiful orange star called Antares next to the moon. This beautiful pairing, again, is late night on Friday, June 30th. You don't want to miss that. And then if we look at the next day, you'll see that the moon is a little bit farther away from Antares, but still an absolutely beautiful pairing of the two objects so close together. And what's fascinating, now, this is something that you probably won't see because we're heading towards the full moon and the moon's glare is just so bright, it's not advantageous to see it. But actually the Milky Way band is stretching through this part of the sky where the moon will be on Saturday night. And so if you wait maybe well into next week, and we'll talk about this next week, that the skies are not going to have that night, at least the moon glaring, it'll be a moonless night. That is going to be the perfect time to see the Milky Way, our home galaxy, the light from millions and millions of other stars, a collection of stars that are part of our home galaxy stretched out before you in this part of the sky where the Scorpius constellation, the giant arachnid, is located. So the moon will be there on Friday, June 30th, and also on Saturday, July 1st. So just in time for my fellow Canucks Canada Day, right? So just something to keep in mind for the end of the week with the moon pairing up with Antares, that very bright orange star. And by the way, Antares is about 550 light years away. Over 5 centuries it takes light from Antares, this orange star right here, for the light from Antares to reach your eye. So just something to ponder when you're looking at those stars. Again, this is visible through a telescope's backyard telescope and the naked eye. Anywhere, even from city limits, you'll be able to see it. But looking low to the southern horizon, if you are in the northern hemisphere, this is something low to the horizon. If you're in the southern hemisphere or closer to the equator, these Antares and Scorpius will be much higher in the sky, an easier sight next to the moon. But those of us relegated to the more northern latitudes, we have to kind of contend with obstructions in the near the horizon to see this pairing. But it's just gorgeous. Do take advantage of it. It really is beautiful. So that's a lot of stuff that we covered, right, guys? So look, the conjunction is easy to see. Venus and Mars, highly recommend it. It's a great photo op as well. The lunar wall, the Great Lunar Straight Wall, highly recommend that too. With particularly small telescopes, I would particularly recommend. Strong binoculars might just do it, but you have to have really good vision to see it. But I think a small telescope will just be perfect. And you'll be amazed at being able to see that straight line in that field of view. And pump up the magnification. Put in eyepieces, higher power eyepieces to see some more detail with that lunar wall. It's just gorgeous. And of course, once you're there, you're going to want to pan around and see all those other wonderful things around remember what I called the terminator line, that shadow line. Things cast beautiful long shadows right there. Crater rims, mountain ranges, just absolutely gorgeous. Something really fun you don't want to miss touring around on the moon. But the lunar straight wall around tonight, the 26th of June, Monday night, and Tuesday and Wednesday night are really the best times to see it this month. Otherwise, you'll have to wait until the next first quarter moon next month to get a view that would be similar to this. Guys, if you're interested in looking into more about astronomy, exploring more things, don't forget to check out my book, Backyard Guide to the Night Sky. This is out by National Geographic. It is a bestseller on Amazon. Thanks to you guys. Thanks for your support and purchasing this book. And if you are interested maybe to give it as a gift or purchasing it for yourself, something special, I do sell signed personally dedicated copies on my website. You can just go to thenightskyguide.com. I'll put a link to that in the chat after the show. If you're interested in something more beefy, something much larger, look at the Stargazer's Atlas. It's 6.5 pounds, large, hardcover coffee table book that really is has everything in terms of constellations, all 88 visible from anywhere around the world, and literally hundreds and hundreds of deep sky objects with mythologies of the constellations and all the science and astrotourism, astroarchaeology. The total connection of humanity with the stars are included in that. So you might want to check that out as well. It's a lot of fun. And available in signed editions that I'm selling personally. So you can visit my website for more information about that. Well, guys, that's it for this week. To show your support, please do consider hitting that subscribe button if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, whether you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. It means a lot. It allows me to bring these shows every week into your homes and giving you some tips and tricks that hopefully help you more in evolving your hobby of stargazing, maybe for yourself, maybe with your family, maybe with your kids and friends. It's something that we can all do. We don't have to be an astrophysicist to enjoy the night sky, just some natural curiosity and maybe a little guide and with you. And hopefully I can be that guide, giving you tips and tricks on what to see every week. So your support means a lot. So please do show that by liking this video, sharing it, and subscribing to my channels. Well, with that, I'll sign off this week. I hope you stay safe and healthy. And until next time, in next week's video, I wish all of you clear skies. Bye-bye.